Hi everyone, so my name is JB, I'm from the tech support team at YellowScan, and so we're just going to do a quick processing of the flight we just done. So that will cover the post-pack part, which is the which is the post-processing of the trajectory, and then I'll show you our new CloudStation mission just a bit, because there's some specific technical presentation during the afternoon where you can go a bit more in depth with the software. So today we acquired a Mapper Plus dataset with camera. So just a quick flight of 6 flight lines at 50 meter high and 8 meter per second. Last week we covered the whole Verchamp area. So I'll show you this dataset too. Same for the VUX 120 that were just flying on top of us during the demo. As you can understand, it's a bit hard to retrieve the data directly from the airfield to here and do the processing. So same, we've done the flight last week. So I'll just showcase you that on our new CloudStation mission. So let's get started with the post-processing of the trajectory in PostPack. So maybe just to get started, if you're not familiar with it, so I've just copied the data onto the hard drive as a test flight version. I always keep the raw data different from the post-process one. Raw data, what it is, so it's a Mapper Plus, so it's a Livox scanner. So you have the scanner file, you have the YS file, and the T04, so the T04 is the full trajectory, 200 Hertz, and the YS is the degraded trajectory that we use in CloudStation to select the flight lines. The 22.0 is the Rhinex file retrieved from the base station running in the garden. And then you have the config and log file that are with all our systems. So, postpack, I'll just create a new blank template project. So same, I'm not going to do an in-depth session on postpack. Again, there is some technical presentation during the afternoon if you want to attend. Same tomorrow. So first, I'll just drag my T04, so my full trajectory. So it's a compressed format, so first it just extracts all the data. Then it checks for GPS ephemerides and GLONASS. Takes a bit of time, connect to the server and retrieve the data from the Trimble service. If the internet connection works well. All right, so this is my real-time trajectory. So we can see the beginning with the initialization figure, then the flight plan. And then at the end, initialization figure again. All the small triangles are the camera events. So then I'll just drop my base station, which was running around there. So first step is just to set my base station. So again, some GNSS processing. So 100% solution, that's what we want. And then I'll just run the GNSS inertial processor. If you want to know more about that, again, postpack technical presentation. So I've got my lever arms already entered in the system between the LiDAR and the GNSS antenna. So it's locked. Here we go. I got my corrected trajectory. So what I want now is just to export it in desktop row. And export. So we're done with the postpack. I'll just save my project if you want to open it later. Just postpack. Here we go. So let's start the brand new CloudStation mission is going to be released today. So just before getting started with the processing of this flight, this is the new interface. So I've already a few projects in my database. So I've got some VX2300, I've got some Voyager, VX15 mapper, the Flaugier Chateau, which is a bit south from here. And so roughly that's how it looks. You got few information here, so user manual, get support, release notes. One of the main things that different from the previous CloudStation where you had a CS cache with every single project, here you can give a storage file, storage location, where you can store all the project parameters of all your project or in the same location, or if you want to keep it per project, you just create a new storage. So let's do the post-processing of this specific dataset. So version, sorry. So it's a single project. So I'll just, so no, it's not really a mission, but a single flight here. Check. So I just want to keep those flight lines. So here, so you still have your project panel with the name of your project. And then here you could add more flights, which I don't have because we've done just a single mission. So your flight just looks like this. Here you have the different flight lines. And here you can change the parameters of the flight. So you can do it per flight or for the whole project. So here it automatically detects my post-process solution, so my SBET file from postpack, because it's in the same folder. My LiDAR profile is so the calibrated profile from this specific unit. And then you can select, again, angle range for the whole strip, the 7 strips, and the min laser range. So it hasn't really changed. All of this was in the settings before. Now you can do it per flight. But you can also do it per strip. If you have some specific strip that you want a different angle range or some different laser range, you can modify it per strip. So here, the properties panel that gives you a bit of information. So the strips duration, so not the whole flight, but the strips that I've selected. So it's 3 minutes to 20 seconds roughly. Date of acquisition, the post-process solution used, the LiDAR, number of strips, and the whole duration of the flight is 7 minutes. So let's do the process. So here I got the visualization loading at the bottom. Keeps going. So obviously the time of processing only depends on your hardware. The best config you have will be much faster. And here we go. So just, so it's the vineyard from Verchamp. We were located here for the takeoff. So it's a Mapper Plus, so it's had a reduced angle, so it's minus 35, 35. Obviously, with the VX or 360 field of view scanner, you'll have more info. But it was just to show you how quick we can generate data from the acquisition to the deliverables. So if I wanted to stop here, I could just go to export and just export the last file, just the last. So again, it hasn't really changed. So settings, the base name, you can export at different format, your coordinate system obviously. Then if you want to export, so per strip, per flight, then so all the modules are back on this side of the panel. You still have, so the 3 modules that we offer today, the strip adjustments with the 2 different methods to adjust. We have, so the terrain module that is still here. and the colorization panel. So there is an embedded camera or an external camera. You just need so the image directory, so the timestamps and the camera profile. So the timestamps, that's the small triangle that we've seen in postpack. So it's an extra step in postpack where you can just export those timestamps. And then you just get, so I haven't done it because it's a bit time consuming, but you just retrieve the photo of your flights from the micro SD. You copy that into your raw data folder, and then here you'll just grab those photos, the timestamp from postpack, and then you can colorize the point cloud. So I just export this project, and then I can show you the rest of it. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And we're done. So in 8 minutes, I've done the processing of this flight from the raw data to the deliverables. So yes, I haven't done the strip adjustment, terrain, and colorization, but basically I've got the last in less than 10 minutes. So it's pretty good. So now if I close this project, I can show you a bit more from some projects, so let's say version. So when you've created your project, here you have some small information. So that was created 3 days ago. The size of your project, 9 gigabytes. It's a project of 2 flights from 22 minutes, and it's my storage. So we've created a specific storage for all those flights. So let's have a look at it. So it's the same area, but a bit bigger. So that's the whole domain de version. So here I've got this flight highlighted at the bottom, and then I've got the second one for the other part. So here there were 14 flight lines and 14 flight lines. No. So 28 strips for a total of, so I've got 181 million points for 12 minutes of flight. So here I can just show and hide my trajectory. So on this flight, here you have the small tick box, means that we've done the strip adjustments on top of it, and we've done the colorization. We haven't ran the terrain module, but basically it's, so I see it's nearly a bathymetric. There's a bit of a return on the pool. But yeah, roughly that's how it looks. Solar panel, the small fountain. So this is where we are. This is where we're gonna dance tonight. This is where your cars parked. Anyway, no, it's a great looking data set that was done in 2 flights. Pretty quick. Maybe we were in here for like an hour, just the time to put the base, do the 2 flights, and back home we did the processing of that, which roughly, again, depending on your machine, extracting the 2's bet plus doing the strip adjustment and colorization for, it took like an hour 15 to do the whole thing. So I think it's pretty good. So this is the whole version. Then I can show you some more. So VX2300, so the Minivox 3 from Regal, where we acquired a golf course northwest of Montpellier. So it's a 5 gigabyte data set. There were 3 flights with an A7R3. Ah, 3 flights. So it's a pretty, as with any Regal scanner, it's a pretty neat result. The A7R is also a fairly good camera. So it's a nice acquisition. Same, so the vanity here. Few hours in the field. So A7R, so at the opposite of our small camera module, A7R takes a bit more time to process, but with the colorization module, so again, strip adjustment, colorization, that was fairly quick and very good results. Quite happy with this data set. Here, so the before what was the display panel has moved to icon, floating icons. So you have so still the same to take some measurements that gives you some information here. You have the slice tool that gives you some information at the bottom. So it's a golf course, so it's fairly simple. You can, so it's, if you're familiar with the cloud, the recent releases of the CloudStation, you're familiar with the slice tool, but you can change parameters. You can show by laser numbers. So not on this one, there's a single laser, but per strip, by intensity, scan angle, etc. The good point now is that you can show by something and filter by something else. So it's roughly the same menus, but you can do much more with it. And then here you have, if you a bit lost, you have your reset button. And then, sure, you can do different slices. So it's, again, here only about the slices, but here you can do the same per elevation. Best thing on the Regal is obviously the intensity. So no, yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's a good system, and then having the possibility to do multi-flights with it, it's going to speed up your processing time, obviously. And maybe the best for the end. So you saw the VUX 120 flying. So that's the data set. I've got a few data sets, but where is it? That's the one. So that was a 12 minutes flight with a small aircraft. We flew at 200 meters at 110 kilometers, so it's a 35 meters per second. With the configuration 1.2 megahertz for the scanner. So that when we start the acquisition, so it's not far from the airfield. Again, it's a single flight, but that'll be good to put the flight they just did today for this multi-flight. And I'll just elevation, intensity. So that covers not only Verchamp, but the whole area. This is the roundabout. Here we have some construction field where you can see quite a lot of details. Thinking you're flying at 35 meters per second at 200 meter high. It's quite an amazing data set, I think. So here's some constructions, then car park. I mean, the density of the system at 1.2 megahertz flying that high is quite amazing. Thinking you only have like 4 minutes and 50 seconds of acquisition in this data set, like showing on the screen. And Verchamp is here. So it's quite a thing. Just too bad we didn't have any camera with it, because I think that will look pretty great. But we'll get to there. So see the level of description, which is obviously better than in our entry-level scanner, but with this system, you'll be able to like just a small flight like this, just the area that you cover, and we haven't we just generated this. I mean, you could keep the whole thing. That'll be pretty good. And that's it for me. That's just a sneak peek on the mission. And so if you want to know more and to manipulate CloudStation mission, there is some workshops. I think it's this afternoon, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. Same for Postpack, same for TerraSolid. So if you want to go a bit more in depth into the manipulation and all the small things you can do with this software, I just encourage you to go to these workshops. That'll be pretty great for you. All right, that's it for me. Thanks very much.